Are you thinking about taking a break from alcohol or quitting altogether? Well, if so, the first 30 days are absolutely crucial, and what happens might surprise you. From battling your final hangover to experiencing sweeping improvements in your health, each day will bring about its own set of challenges and rewards. And if you're curious about what to expect and how your body heals, stay tuned, because understanding these changes could be the key to making your sobriety click. And so, a very quick introduction: I'm Leon Sylvester, the founder of SoberClear.com, and we use first principles thinking and a future-focused coaching approach to help business owners and professionals take back control of their drinking within as little as 48 hours. I myself drank alcohol for close to a decade, but for the past 6 years, I've not touched a drop, and most importantly, I have no desire, and I've not gone to AA or used willpower or therapists or medication. No, I've done it a completely different way, and if you go to SoberClear.com, you can learn more about how I actually work with people and help them achieve a similar transformation. Now, if you want to actually book a call, just click the link in the description, and you and I can jump on a quick call and really see if my method could be a good match for you. It's a totally free call, and on that call, we'll dive into your unique situation, and I'll really explain a roadmap for you to follow to take back control of your drinking, and then you can either follow that roadmap on your own, or you and I can do it together. So if you want to jump on one of those free calls, click the link down below, book a call, and if you want more information, just go to SoberClear.com. So, let's start at the first 12 hours from the last drink, which is where you're metabolizing the ethanol out of your system. Alcohol levels in your blood will peak around 60 to 90 minutes from your last drink. From that point on, they will decline at a steady linear pace. Exactly how fast will depend on factors like your size, how much you've had to eat, your tolerance, and so on. But for a man of average size, a ballpark figure is that you'll metabolize about 1 drink per hour, meaning about 10 to 12 hours at the most, the booze will be out of your system. There's nothing that you can do to speed up this process. Things like taking a cold shower or drinking lots of coffee will not make the slightest difference. So, just when you've metabolized all the alcohol out of your system is when you can expect your final hangover. Basically, a headache from hell that just won't go away, regardless of how many painkillers that you pop. Tiredness, weakness, dry mouth, and a feeling of severe dehydration will still be there. And there is no treatment for the hangover, just like there's no convincing explanation for what causes a hangover in the first place. Sadly, you will just have to wait it out, but it should last no more than a few hours. At most, 20 hours after your last drink, it will have resolved and the worst is now behind you. So, having said all of that, things will probably continue to be bad for a few days before it makes a turnaround and things start getting better. And the two main areas that are likely to be the toughest are A, your sleep, and B, the cravings. So with regards to sleep, there is massive variation from one person to the other. Really heavy drinkers, for example, those who detoxify as part of an inpatient program, are likely to have sleep disturbance for sometimes even months on end. If you're like most, however, you'll probably experience significant sleep problems for around a week after your last drink. You will probably take longer to fall asleep, and when you do, your sleep patterns will be more shallow, leading to more frequent awakenings throughout the night. This is only to be expected, as your brain's neurotransmitter systems are basically just adjusting to the new alcohol-free reality. And as unpleasant as it might be, it's important to embrace it for what it really is. It's a part of the healing process. Supplements like melatonin and herbs like valerian root could possibly help. See, these don't have addictive potential, and they might really just help you pull through the first few days. A couple of days after your last drink, you can also start to experience your first cravings. Again, just like with the sleep, the intensity and duration of cravings will be completely different from one person to the next. For most, the cravings will be at their most severe for the first week. Others, especially those that are using just pure willpower and gritting through it, might go on to deal with cravings for weeks, months, sometimes even years. And this is why it's so important to attack the root cause of your drinking. This is something that my new method does and the SoberClear program does, and I've actually put together a free video training that will show you how to eliminate drinking without cravings. So if you click the link down below, you can access a free video training that I don't publish anywhere else. Just put in your name and email address. You definitely want to check that out after watching this. So what about day 15? Well, elevated blood pressure, also called hypertension, is universal amongst almost all heavy drinkers. See, alcohol raises blood pressure both directly through its toxic effects on the cardiovascular system, as well as indirectly via things like excess calories, weight gain, and a generally unhealthy lifestyle. Though it has no symptoms, hypertension is very dangerous as it can lead to stroke, heart attack, heart failure, and bring about complications in multiple organs, including the eyes, kidneys, kidneys, and genitals. Remarkably, after only 2 weeks of abstinence, your hypertension will have actually reversed. You can see in this graph how the systolic and diastolic blood pressure evolved in a heavy group of drinkers who stopped. The black symbols are for the group who stopped drinking, and the white ones for a control group who kept on drinking. You see here how the white line stays more or less flat for those who keep drinking. But the abstainer's blood pressure starts dropping very fast, even 2 or 3 days after their last drink. And by day 15, it had normalized for over 90% of abstainers, dropping to or even below 140 over 90 milliliters of mercury. In general, the higher the blood pressure of the study participants at the start, the more it dropped. Personally, I never cease to be amazed at our body's incredible ability to heal itself even after endless years of abuse. The only thing it needs is that we give it the chance to do so. Next, let's look at day 20. Now, at around the day 20 mark, your liver, the organ to arguably suffer the most from drinking, will have made a nearly miraculous recovery. You see, before it reaches the point of alcoholic hepatitis or cirrhosis, the liver of almost all drinkers will spend years in an intermediate state called fatty liver. The cells swell up with fat, and the liver as a whole balloons in size. You can literally see how fat it's become with a simple ultrasound scan. Now, after only 20 days of abstinence, this fatty liver that might have persisted for years will usually have fully resolved. At this point, liver biopsies will also appear normal under a microscope. By the end of the month, your liver fat will have probably fallen around 15%. For some, this can be as high as 20%. If you take a lab test at this time, they will also corroborate these macroscopic changes. You see, when the liver is bloated, it leaks enzymes like ALT, AST, and GGT into the bloodstream. Elevated levels of these enzymes are actually one of the tests that a doctor will use to determine if you have a fatty liver. At around 20 to 30 days after your last drink, these enzymes will have reduced by up to 15 or even 30%. Years of drinking will have also damaged your bones, often to the point of reducing their density and leaving them more prone to fractures. After only 3 weeks of abstinence, certain markers of bone formation will have already rebounded to such an extent that they will now resemble those of non-drinkers. This means that your risk of fractures has already started to decline, and your bones are well on their way to a complete recovery. By the 3-week mark, your gut will have also made a dramatic recovery. You see, after it goes down our mouth and through the esophagus, alcohol will then make its first major stop at the stomach and small intestines. Whilst there, it basically wreaks havoc on the countless microorganisms that collectively make up the so-called gut microflora, which is absolutely critical to healthy digestion. Ethanol also compromises the structural integrity of the gut barrier, allowing all sorts of pathogens to leak into the bloodstream. The good news is that the recovery takes place just as fast here as it does in the liver. At the 3-week mark, your gut will have completely recovered its structural integrity. Your gut microflora will have also started to recover, but only partially at this point. And now finally, let's look at day 30. By the end of the month, you will pretty much be a different person. For starters, your blood sugar levels will have plummeted. One study with social drinkers found a whopping average drop of 23% in just over a month. This was enough to bring their blood sugar levels from the red into the healthy range. And why exactly is this so important? Well, keeping your blood sugar under control will help you avoid conditions like insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, nerve damage, kidney damage, eye problems, impaired immune function, and the list goes on. It's pretty damn important. Your total blood cholesterol, another risk factor for heart disease, will also drop by 5%. Your sleep, which as we saw will probably suffer during the first few days, will have also rebounded dramatically at this point. Your ability to concentrate will also have improved, and you will feel an abundance of newfound energy. One study that used social drinkers who recorded their energy levels before and after found a roughly 10% increase in wakefulness. At this point, the changes will not be limited to health metrics, but will extend to various aspects of your life. Roughly 1 out of 2 participants of 1-month abstinence programs, like Dry January, report that they started engaging in more physical activity and improved their diet. Predictably, these people are also likely to lose weight, typically between 1 to 2 kilos, and you can't really expect a different outcome. On the one hand, you have less incoming energy as you cut out the endless dead calories from booze and improve your diet. And on the other hand, you have higher energy expenditure as your metabolism improves and you start to become more active. The improvements in your diet and gut function mean that by this point, the levels of various vitamins and minerals in which you were deficient, notably thiamine, folic acid, and B12, will have also started to rebound. When you take all these changes to your health and consider them as a whole, The picture is truly astounding. In the words of one medical professional, quote, "If someone had a health product that did all that in 1 month, they would be raking it in." And thankfully, achieving this transformation is totally free, and if you click the video on the screen now, you can learn why everybody is stopping drinking. Have a great day.